Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to talk about something that I experienced recently, and that is mites in rats. Now I wasn't going to make a video on this because it personally wasn't something that I'd experienced before and I wasn't fully educated on it, so it's thanks to my friend Ratati, I'll leave her links in the description, that I was able to learn more about it and treat it. But I thought it was important to share my experience anyway in case your rats happen to get mites and this video is somewhat helpful to you. Now this all started back in February. I'd had the baby rats for about a month and I noticed that Rolo had some blood on his back and my mind immediately jumped to the new baby rats and I thought that one of them had attacked him. But the blood was easy to notice because he is white. Well, he's supposed to be white, he's kind of a creamy colour, but it was more easy to notice than it would be on other rats because he does have white fur. So when I messaged my friend about this, panicking that they were fighting, she suggested it was maybe mites and that I should treat for this, and this made a lot more sense in my mind because when I did feel him over, he did have a couple more scabs over his body. So what are rat mites? They're small little parasites and usually you can't actually see them. Now they're different from other parasites such as fleas or lice, which you can see. Now they're usually present in small numbers, but if your rat has a particularly weak immune system then it can flare up and the symptoms can appear and you will have to treat them for it. Now mites can be brought in from new rats or from bedding and food that you use. So if this is the case, I suggest freezing all food and bedding that you're bringing in before you use it with your rats. Now don't let this put you off keeping rats at all. Most animals that we do keep in our homes do actually get things like fleas and mites. It doesn't mean rats that are any more dirtier than any other animals because your average dog and cat will probably get fleas at some point in its lifetime and it's just something that you have to deal with. It doesn't mean that rats are any more disgusting, and to be honest I've had more flea issues with my dogs than the one time that I've had to treat for mites. Now I don't actually have any photos of Rolo as this going on because I was more focused on getting him treated and making sure I was doing the right thing. But I'll insert some pictures if I have any of him on here, or some other pictures of other rats that are suffering from mites, just so you can get a little bit of an idea of what to look for and what will kind of happen to your rat if they do have a mite flare up. So because you can't see mites, you just have to assume that they're there and treat for them, and most often you'll see your rats scratching themselves, mostly around their shoulders and the back of their neck, and oftentimes they can make themselves bleed and scab over, and if this is the case then chances are your rat does have mites. So how do you treat it? So you're going to want to go out and get a small animal mite treatment, and you're going to want to make sure it contains, I'm going to completely butcher these names, either Matson or Matson. Now this is something you can either go to your vets for or you can actually find it online or in some stores. So it's worth treating all the rats you have in your cage just in case. And if your rats are scratching after 3 weeks of applying the solution, then you're going to want to either try and treat them again, or I suggest consulting a vet to see if they have any other alternatives or if there is any other issues that may be causing them to scratch themselves. So the one that I used is the Beaver Antiparasite Spot On. Now this is good because it does contain ivermectin, and the only problem with this is that it does require you to put a lot of it on the back of your rat, which can make them really wet, but it does contain the right ingredients to treat them, and this is the one that I personally used. But the one that I used comes with dosages on the back, and if you are treating rats or other small animals that are under 300 grams, then you have to get one that is labelled at hamsters. This one is for rabbits, guinea pigs, ferrets and rats. So if you do have baby rats, you're going to have to get one that's marketed at hamsters to make sure you're giving them a safe dosage, but all the dosages are on the back. So this one's fairly easy to use. The only problem with this is, again, you have to put quite a lot on the back of their neck, which can make them really wet, and then you have to wait for them to dry a little bit. So to apply the treatment, you want to part the fur on the back of their neck and apply it all over their skin, on the back of their shoulders and their neck. then a good idea to leave them separated from their cage mates for a little period of time just to make sure they can dry as much as possible and so that the other rats don't groom it off them. Another thing you should do if you are able to, I know it's really difficult and I myself haven't really mastered the best way of doing this, is to cut their claws, and doing this can prevent them from actually scratching themselves and causing a lot of damage and making themselves bleed. It's not the mites that are making them bleed, but it's them scratching themselves. So if you can cut their claws while they're still trying to get over the mite problem, then this will help considerably to stop them from damaging their skin. And that's basically how you treat your rats for mite. If you do think your rats have mites, I really hope that treatment helps them. If you have tried a treatment option that doesn't work, I highly suggest you go to your vet and ask them what to do, because they will know what to do and give you a professional answer. Broly's skin has cleaned up really nicely since I first noticed the problem. The reason I'm treating him again in these clips that you would have seen is just to make sure that it doesn't return. The others and him have been scratching a little bit, so I wanted to treat them again just to make sure that everything was under control and that they were going to be okay. If you yourself have experienced mites in rats or any other small animal and you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments and I'd love to hear your experiences. I hope this was helpful to some of you. Subscribe if you want to see more animal related videos from me, and we'll see you in our next video.